Let's see if I've still got a hang of this Let's Play thing.
Ho ho! Next level game! Yahoo!
So if you're not familiar with Mario Strikers, it's Mario Soccer in blunt terms. But if you're still not familiar with what that means, imagine if you're playing soccer with Mario and company, but everything is full force, hardcore, and maybe a bit extreme. That's basically what Mario Strikers, and to a greater extent, I guess, Mario Strikers Charged is. This is the second game in the Mario Strikers series, the first one being on the GameCube under the title Super Mario Strikers. This one is for the Wii, called Mario Strikers Charged. Of course, it has a very common theme of electricity, power-up, shenanigans. Of course, you can see a lot of items, some silly nature with fire hands on the goalie. That shouldn't be legal, nor is that. But yeah, here's an easy way of thinking about it. If Mario sports, such as like tennis or golf, took a more Mario Kart angle and made things just insane and or silly enough, but also got a bit more physical than what Mario is a bit used to. If not that, then a bit more edgy, case in point. Then you've got Mario Strikers. And remember, glowing eyes always guarantees that this game will be amazing. Or any game for that matter. So here we go. This is a 2007 game developed by Next Level Games. You might be aware of their past games, such as Punch-Out for the Wii, the recreation of that. Next Level also produced the original Mario Strikers, if I remember right. If not produced, then developed. So, and if you're also not familiar with what they do, they are kind of notorious for making difficulty ramp up immensely. So we got the main menu here, 7 options. There's Domination Mode, which is the multiplayer mode. You can go with up to 4 people, each one using a Wiimote and nunchuck. Either 2 people per team, or 1 person on 1 team against 3 people, or what have you. Of course, teams are made of 4. I'll show that a little later. What we're going to be doing in this Let's Play is the Road to the Striker Cup, going through all 3 cups, and hopefully getting to the very end, unlocking all 3 characters as we go. Striker Challenges, as it implies, this is a mission mode. Hall of Fame, I guess stats. Options, self-explanatory. Strikers 101 is your tutorial. And unfortunately debunked the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection where you could play online. Even back in 2007 it still wasn't very stable, so unfortunately not too great. As I said though, we're going to go to the Road to the Striker Cup now. So you have a few captains to start off from. You've of course got your Mario and Luigi. You also got Princess Peach and Princess Daisy. You got your heavyweights, Donkey Kong, Bowser, and Wario. Then there's the odd case with Waluigi, and of course you got Yoshi. You might notice there are some stats there, and you may also notice a little title to the right of those stats. For example, Mario it says Balanced, Peach it says Playmaker, and DK it says Power. These are all the classes of Striker that each character has. Both captains and sidekicks alike have these classifications, and they all have the same stats and various tweaks about the character themselves that makes them a bit different to everyone else. But what Balanced is, as it implies, it's balanced stats all around. You got 6 points out of 10 in everything, so it's very well rounded for taking any type of position. The Playmaker is very quick and very good to pass. However, shooting and defense leaves much to be desired, aka you can't shoot very far or hard, and whenever you're slide tackling or body checking, you don't go very far at all. But you can get around the place quickly, and it makes for some good offensive plays. Power characters such as Donkey Kong are the opposite. They are good at shooting and body checking and what have you, but are a bit tough to get around with and do not pass very quickly at all. You also got the defensive characters such as Waluigi, where they move fast and they can tackle hard and very far, but they can't pass or shoot very well. As the name implies, it's mostly for defense. And you got the offensive characters, the opposite. They can shoot and pass really well, but are slow and kind of hard to body check with. So that's about everything. The basic characters, Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi are all balanced. Daisy and Waluigi are defensive. Peach is the only playmaker. DK and Bowser are power characters, and Wario is the only offensive character. Of course, there are also 3 unlockable characters, which we'll show off later. But for this playthrough, I'm probably just going to stick with Luigi. He's always been my go-to guy. And nothing really sets him apart from Mario other than the fact that he's green, and green's also awesome. I'll also get into more of the technical aspects about each type of class and, I guess, character once we get started. But in addition to your captain, you also have a sidekick team. So you can have a selection of up to 8 up to 8 other sidekicks, as they were. So, these 4 right here, Koopa Troopa, Toad, Hammer Bros, and Birdo, are all returning from the original Super Mario Strikers. But unlike in that game, they actually have unique traits that set them apart. In that game, they were all basically carbon copies of one another. They had the exact same stats, nothing that separated them from the captains. And, well, except for the captains that could do their super moves, but we'll also get into that later. Then you also got these other 4, Dry Bones, Boo, Shy Guy, and Monty Mole. Just like the captains, they all have their own traits and their class, as it were. Koopa is your balanced character, as is Shy Guy. You got Toad, the playmaker, and Boo is also a playmaker. Dry Bones is the only defensive sidekick. Monty Mole and Birdo are power sidekicks, and Hammer Bro is your only offensive sidekick. Now, each captain, I believe has their own preset sidekick team, but you can choose whatever you want. It's not limited to just what you have, like what you're given. So that's what default is. If you want to go completely random, it just gives you a different sidekick per position. But for my personal preference as to what I like to use, it is Boo, Hammer Brother, and Monty Mole. Not necessarily in their order, because they can get around the court pretty effectively, but I will also get into that a little later. But for now, let's go with normal difficulty into the Striker Cup. Every time you start out the Striker Cup, from Ground Zero, you get this little news bulletin. You can tell it's modeled after a DS Lite. Luigi's time to shine? Super Mario's brother sets out on a long road to Striker Cup. How far will he go? Luigi holds his own fate in his hands. As I implied previously, there are 3 cups you gotta go through in the road to the Striker Cup. The Fire Cup, the Crystal Cup, and then the Striker Cup. In the Fire Cup, of course, you got 6 qualifying rounds before the semifinals, and then finally the finals. Once you get to the finals and beat whoever is there with you, then you move on to the Crystal Cup. Same thing goes for the Crystal Cup. You go through, I think, 10 rounds, and then you go to the semifinals, and then the finals, and then that's it. But if you start a new game, you'll notice that the current champion is a character we haven't unlocked yet. This is true for also Crystal Cup and Striker Cup, where there are 2 characters that are not unlocked right away and will be unlocked after you beat them. You also have your win-loss and sudden death ratios. Sudden death points are worth 1, wins are worth 3, and losses are worth 0. I believe you can check that in the cup stats. As you can see, Bowser and Waluigi already had a match. Waluigi won against Bowser, who lost in sudden death. 3 points for the win, 1 point for the SD. But at this point in the season, it is time for Luigi vs. Peach. Now, normally, if you're in domination mode, you are able to choose whichever team you want, because you select the teams both for if you want the CPU's team to be something or if you want your team to be something, then you can inadvertently switch to them. But in this, I don't know why they put it here, You just got to move your controller over to away and then play now, or not even away, because sometimes you're going to be home team. And coincidentally, my personal favorite stage in terms of music, maybe not the best stage in terms of gimmick, but I like it nonetheless. So at the start of every match, you get this little cutscene of your characters dropping in from the sky. Nice little home team theme playing as the home captain flies in from the sky. And here we go. Excellent start. Alright, so your basic controls, while you have the ball, press A to pass, B is to charge up a shot if you hold the button and then let it go to shoot. While you're also holding the ball, press any direction in the D-pad to deke in that direction. With Boo, it's a bit tricky because he disappears a little bit and avoids enemies for a very brief second. With Hammer Bro, because he's an offensive character, he brings down a hammer and attacks people with it. You can use the deke strategically by, once you have the ball, start charging a shot and then deke, and then you'll be able to keep the charged power of the ball. The ball, of course, the greater the charge, the stronger it is, basically. For right now, it's at the lowest point, which is purple, and it can get up to white in terms of power. And once it gets to white, of course, it gets easier to shoot. With balanced characters, you can shoot from just about anywhere and still manage to get the goalie a little tricked out. Medium range is pretty good for shooting. With playmakers and defensive characters, you need to be really up close and personal and very tricky about getting your shot in. But with power characters and offensive characters, if you get a high enough charge with the ball, you can basically shoot from half court. Well, is it court? Half field. And still be able to make it in. Because every time you shoot, it's automatically locked onto the goal, for example. But the higher your striking power, the more reliable it is to get in. There's also, while you're on defense, the slide tackle, which is also done by pressing the deke button, which is the D-pad. Oh yeah, also on defense, shaking the Wii Remote will... Here, let me get rid of this. Shaking the Wii Remote watching Luigi will let you body tackle. Watching Monty Mole now. Well, it'll let you body tackle. If you are far away from an opponent and you can't quite slide into them, then you can just tackle them and they will instantly drop the ball. But if you slide or tackle somebody while they do not have the ball, then it will cause them to earn an item. Also, if you charge the ball enough, but not all the way, watch, for example, when I let go of the ball. You'll notice that there was a little charging circle around Hammer Bro when he was about to fire it. That will always yield an item unless you have full items. To use your item, you gotta press the C button. Right now I have 2 mushrooms. The mushroom will let you speed up temporarily. You can see Luigi is dashing away. Watch the Hammer Brother now. He's super slow to start off with, but with the mushroom, he starts moving a little bit faster. If you also hold the Z button while you charge up a shot or a pass, shot, of course, is done with the B button, then you can lob the shot and/or pass. And/or. If you're in your own side of the court and press B, you will launch the ball into the other side of the court, but not a shot on goal. You have to be in the opposing team's half of the court field in order to actually shoot it on goal. That was the only goal of the match, of course. Also get into a bit more technical aspects of each character a little bit in the next match. Hopefully. If I can remember to without blabbing too much. I didn't get to talk much about the stage. Hopefully it'll come up some other time so I can explain it. Each stage also... well, most stages, I guess, also has a gimmick about them that tends to separate them from each other. For example, with the Wastelands, it had slippery physics and lightning that would come down sometimes. If, in any instance, in any of the stages, if lightning hits the ball, it will supercharge it, immediately giving it full power. So here's Bowser. He has giant claws. Gotta love Luigi's theme. Alright, let's see if we can show off one of the main gimmicks about the captain. So if you fully charge the shot without letting go of B, you get this little slider here. Pressing B at any point during the initial swing left will set how many shots you do with this Mega Strike. And if you manage to time the button press again on the right swing in the green or orange area, it will determine how fast the ball will go into the goal. This is mostly determined, well, not determined, but it is mostly reliant on the opposing team to block the shots on their own, because you're actually given control of the goalie in that one instance. Let's see if we can do that again, but get it a bit better this time. There we go. So green is a fast shot, but not the fastest. And typically at low-level AI, they are not the best at blocking every single one of these, as you can tell. That was a 5-shot, and he only managed to block one of them. Of course, if you whiff the other... If you miss the orange or green side of that slider, you will... Okay, perfect time. Bowser missed the orange and green part of the slider, so his shots are going to be slow by comparison. But here's what happens when the opposing team does a Mega Strike on you. You'll have to block all the balls as they come up by using the Wii sensor bar, and this is probably the only time in the game where you need to use it. Let's see. Be careful not to whiff those, because you will get a bit of a downtime if you do whiff it, which could cause you to miss it entirely. Bowser's also been spewing fire this entire time. That's actually his captain's ability. It comes as an item, but it also tends to give you... Okay, the item system, by the way, gives you rare items depending on how far behind you are. If you're in the lead, of course, you don't get as great of items. So right now, we've still got only 2, well now 3 mushrooms. Still not the greatest. I believe the other items we could get are shells in low quantities. In addition to what the captains can do by fully charging the ball with the B button, your sidekicks also have skill shots. With Hammer Bro, he fires off some hammers before throwing it. If you do it at mid-range from the goalie, it's almost guaranteed to go in. As for Boo and Monty Mole, let's see if I can get those off. I don't think this is far enough. Yeah, no. Boo will teleport the ball forward. If the goalie is too close to him, however, he will charge at Boo, not letting him get the shot off. I don't know the exact... Okay, that's good enough. It's very tricky about where you gotta be. As for Monty Mole, let's see if we can get his skill shot. There we go. He will knock the goalie into the back of the goal and then fire the ball at them. But these are all like specific places where you gotta be in order for them to effectively work. Like for example, if I try skill shot there, it's not necessarily guaranteed to go in. Same with Hammer Bro. If I was to do the skill shot from way back here, it still went in, but that was because it was a fully charged ball and he was at half court, so the goalie had little time to react. If it wasn't obvious, the goalie is AI controlled. You can't control it unless it has the ball. Let's see if I can actually get the Kremling to grab this. There we go. So now I'm controlling him, but otherwise I can't actually switch to him. I'm switching over my other 4 characters by pressing the A button, but not to the Kremling. As I said, of course, we could lob the ball, and you can keep juggling it if you want to. You'll notice that there are some different passing speeds between each of the characters. That's, of course, dependent on the passing stat. With Boo, it's almost immediate. Like, boop, there's the ball. Boop, there's the ball. That was also Hammer Bro. But with Monty Mole, a bit higher arc and a bit slower to get there. Luigi is a bit more balanced, but yeah. Passing the ball also lets you charge the ball really quickly. Oh, lame. I was about to show off the Monty Mole's Deke. With power characters, it's similar to the offensive characters, except instead of jumping into the air and attacking from above, the power characters will stay in place and attack. That's what Monty Mole does. If someone comes in contact with him while he does that, then he will strike them back. Of course, that type of attack does not yield the opponent any items, because they are technically attacking you at that point. Balanced characters have deeks that do not deal damage. They just tend to avoid. Playmakers as well, although playmakers are a little more... trying to look for the right word for this. Fancy? I guess that's the closest I'm going to get with that.